Today, we're going to talk about the threshold of control and how to remind yourself, I got this. Yesterday, I went live with the threshold of control and to remind ourselves that I got this. There's only one problem. We had 10 seconds of audio and then it cut out. So, what's within the threshold of my control? Do it again, baby. We're going to do it again. Hopefully, we'll do it right this time with a little bit of sound. So, let's talk for a second. I was having a discussion with a family member, and she is working in an organization where 3 times now, manager has come up to her and just started ripping into her for no reason. Now, if you have the same manager coming up on you and ripping you 3 times in a row, and you don't even know why, hasn't told you why, hasn't asked any questions about what you're doing and why you're doing it, just automatically goes off on you, what should you do? What is within the threshold of your control? You know, look at his name badge, say, oh, Jack, who gave you permission to talk to me like that? But as a manager, if somebody that I was speaking to back to me, I would have to do one of 2 things. First of all, I'm going to have to check myself and go, wait a minute, what is she talking about? Did I say something wrong? Or I'm like, heck to the yeah. If you are to a certain kind of way and you haven't done anything to deserve such a communication, then you cannot be a doormat. You cannot allow them to talk to you that way without saying something to them back. And not disrespectfully, but truly asking them, who gave you permission to talk to me like that? Because I clearly did not. Right? Now, if they don't change their behavior, do you really talk to you like that? No way. You know what? You can make that kind of money anywhere right now. With the number of people that refuse to go to work right now, please, you can go get another job down the street paying you the same amount, if not more, right? So there's no reason for you to put up with it because it's within the threshold of your control to change it. You don't have to put up with it, right? So stand up, say about it. Case in point, I'll tell you that as a senior manager in a building, I had one of my managers say to me once, he's like, dude, would it kill you to say something once in a while? And I have to admit, I was pretty hard on this guy because he rarely, if ever, did his job. It was terrible. But I had to take a step back and look in the mirror and go, wait a minute. Am I communicating in a positive way or am I communicating with this individual in a negative way? And he was right. I was communicating with him in a negative way. So I had to change the way I communicated. Had he not said something to me, I probably still would have been talking to him that same exact way, which was, it was uncalled for and it was unacceptable. But at the same time, I didn't see it until he pointed it out to me. Now, I'll also tell you that when I started back over in retail, man, I had a manager she was riding me like crazy. And she'd come to the end of I said, ma'am, I actually used her name. You need to go harass somebody else because you know I'm the best worker you have right here. So you need to move along. And to her credit, she actually did move on, but she became my biggest champion after that, right? And it worked out well for me with the threshold of my control. Saying something about, okay? Don't allow people to use you as a doormat. Very, very important. So Saturday, I was helping somebody move on Saturday morning. And it was crazy. I roll in about 7:30 in the morning. I park my car. We go back. We load up the first truckload, and we get it over to the house. We unload it. We come back, and I notice my car is gone. Now, I don't know about you, but the last time you came back and found that your car was missing, what are some of the thoughts and feelings that went through your body and your mind at that time? I'll tell you what was going through mine. Where is my car? Right? So I get out of the truck, I go in, and I have one of 2 things that I can do. The lady sitting behind the counter at this rental place, I can either go off on her or I can ask some questions, try to find out what's going on. And so I stepped inside and I asked her a question. I said, ma'am, I parked my car here and it's gone. Do you know anything about that? She goes, oh my gosh. She said there was a guy from a towing company and he came in here and he said that you had an oil leak and that he had permission to pick up your car and he took your car. I'm like, ma'am, I don't have an oil leak. Like, there's nothing wrong with my car. I'm helping a friend move over here. And she's like, oh my gosh. And she lights up and she's like, oh, I very flustered. And she's like, oh, you know what? I'll call the sheriff's department. And I think it was this particular towing company's name. So I'll call them too. Calls the towing company. No answer. Calls the sheriff's department. They answer like, well, yeah, we had a car towed, but it was on the street. It wasn't in your parking spot. Anyways, I gave her my information. I gave her my name and my phone number. Said, hey, call me when you figure it out because I'm going to go help them finish moving this stuff. As I walk outside, the tow truck is pulling back in with my car. So I walk over and I'm like, dude, what are you doing with my car? He says, well, let me tell you what happened. He said, I was given a call to pick up a car at the same make and model as yours. And I picked it up and I hauled it to my shop. And when I got it there, the guy whose car I was supposed to pick up is like, dude, that's not my car. So he said, well, man, we immediately turned around and came back and brought it back here. And so I apologize. Here's your car. He says, thank you so much for being cool about this, but it was a mix up. Here's your car. The sheriff's department had called and had a car towed. That car was already towed. Meanwhile, the owner of that car had called a tow company to come get his car. And because his car wasn't there, same make and model as mine, they picked up mine. Big misunderstanding, no harm, no foul, right? Had I gone in and just went off and verbally blew up this lady where she didn't know anything about it, that would have been crazy, right? And yet, how many times do we do that with situations? We walk in on somebody, we walk up on something, and we just blow up at them without finding out what the situation is. See, there's something called the threshold of control. When something happens to us, right? We also have an opportunity to choose the story that we're going to tell ourselves about the situation. So when I saw that my car was missing, I could have gone, oh my gosh, the world's coming to an end. Or I told myself, I am confident enough that I'll be able to figure out what the situation is, right? I can figure out how to get out of it or how to figure out what happened, what went on. No big deal. It's within my ability to solve that problem. And the more confident we become, first. So I would encourage each one of you to truly do the things that are within your control. Number one is to control the story we tell ourselves, which then creates a different emotion, which then creates a different action and a different reaction from us. So let's maintain control, ask questions, clarify, and at the same time, don't allow your leaders, don't allow your managers to use you as a doormat, because we all know that you deserve to be treated with honor, with respect. And if you're doing your job, clearly there's no reason for your manager or your leader to speak to you in a negative way. And if they do, who gave you permission to talk to me like that? We'll see you tomorrow.